cash flow management reforms. On reform number one, continuing the budget repair program, Mr. Speaker, there continues to be good news on implementing the Marape-Basel government's budget repair and reconstruction program, commenced back in 2019 when we formed our new government. There is good news on economic growth, good news on revenue, and good news on expenditure. Mr. Speaker, PNG is indeed heading towards a 101 billion economy this year, as we've all heard so often. In the latest IMF analysis of the economy, released this week, they have confirmed the ongoing recovery of our country's economy. Indeed, the economy did 4 billion kina better in 2020 than first expected, reflecting the success of our protecting the budget, protecting the economy, COVID-19 response. In 2021, the economy grew by 7.8 billion kina, the second highest increase ever in PNG's history, only surpassed by the start of the PNG LNG exports following years of hard work by our former Grand Chief, Sir Michael Somare. In 2022, building on the gains of 2021, we expect an even slightly larger increase in the economy of 7.9 billion kina. These increases will bring jobs and higher incomes. We are recovering from the worst global pandemic in a century, which we've all heard so often. And these aren't the fake numbers of the previous government. These are the endorsed figures from the IMF. There is also good news on revenues. We need revenues to pay for our schools, our health centers, and build our roads. Based on latest advice, I am pleased that tax and customs revenues are expected to exceed the 2021 budget forecasts. Once again, the Marape-Basel government is delivering on its budget repair credentials. Mr. Speaker, on top of this good news, we have recently heard of the good news on agreement on the much better fiscal terms of the PNG LNG project, inked yesterday at Government House. And this was achieved through hard but fair negotiations by our committed Minister for Petroleum and Energy, and urged on, as always, by our Prime Minister, in line with international best practice. PNG tax revenues had not been built into our long-term revenue forecasts. The much better share of returns coming to PNG really is icing on our country's revenue cake. Mr. Speaker, I am also pleased that we are a responsible government that is keeping domestic expenditure under control. In 2020, we were possibly the only country in the world that kept domestic budget expenditures slightly below our original budget figure, despite absorbing 500 million in COVID-19 support costs. In 2021, preliminary figures, although still to be confirmed by the final budget outcome next month, is that domestic expenditure has once again come within budget. Mr. Speaker, the combination of strong growth, higher revenues, and responsible expenditure controls is good news for our country. This demonstrates once again the credibility of the government's budget repair work. The Marape-Basil government's budget repair work is credible, it is transparent, and it is certified by international sources. This is the pathway forward for PNG and our people.